Geno Auriemma's UConn team is in the Final Four for the 14th straight year, and we are pleased to welcome him back to the show. Geno, you called Monday night's win over North Carolina State one of the best games you've ever been a part of. And one of the things that made that great, I thought, was the NC State three-pointer at the end of the first overtime from deep in the right corner, which tied the game. So here's a small coaching question.
I know.
Did you think of fouling before that sequence, and why did you not foul?
I don't have that level of trust right now that we can execute that if we had to in that moment. We had one big kid out. We had another one out, I believe, and I didn't trust it. And this is a lousy answer maybe, but you know, when you foul in women's basketball and they go to the line and they make two, and then they call timeout, or you know, if they miss, or they get to advance the ball. So it's not like you go down the other end and then with 2 seconds left, they got to go the length of the floor and score. So I just think you have to rethink it now that you can advance the ball. I still would choose to do it if I had my druthers. If I had to do it over again, I would foul.
Geno, I have loved listening to you this season post-game because it seems like, tell me if I'm crazy, but it seems like here this team is in the Final Four, but it seems like you were more worried game to game and week to week than I remember in a lot of other seasons when you had great teams.
Yeah, this was probably the most unusual season for us in that regard, Michael, because all I kept thinking was, how do we win the next game? You know, we have 4 post players and only 2 guards or 3 guards available to play. How do we win the next game? You know, and then, hey, we got 5 guards and only 1 post player available to play tonight. How do we win the next game? And before, for me, it was always, hey, look, this is our way to March. When March starts, that's when the season starts. But this year, every game took on its own, you know, kind of championship season kind of a game. And it was quite enjoyable, to be honest with you, because you had to grind out every single game as if it was the most important game of the year.
So I understand that coaches go game to game. I get that. But you've been to 14 straight Final Fours. It's an incredible number. Only 2 other programs have been to 14 total, and nobody has been to more than 5 in a row. 14 straight. How do you explain that?
I can't. I can't explain it. I have no explanation for it. Every year is different. I say it this way, you know, women's basketball, yes, every player stays, generally speaking, for 4 years. So it's even more crazy when you think that every year in the final 8, you're also playing a team with a bunch of seniors and juniors that have been around for four years. So it's not like you're playing a 15 seed or a 13 seed or a 12 seed. So it's always against a great team. And I think your program can get you that far, but then you got to have somebody individually that just rises up and says, we're going to the Final Four. So I think it's more about the individual players that we've had. You know, you saw what Paige did the other night. And that's, if you have that kind of kid, you can win that game. If you don't, then that's the game where it all ends for you.
All right, speaking of Paige, I'm glad this leads right into that, Geno. How does having her back change strategically, as a coach, what you might decide to do, particularly late in games?
For us, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, for us? Well, she's going to obviously have the ball in her hands and is going to have to make a lot of decisions for us. And those decisions are, do I shoot it? Do I pass it? And if I pass it, who do I pass it to and why? And really comfortable with that because she's really comfortable with that. And that makes every other player on our team very comfortable because that takes some of the pressure off of them having to make that decision. So, you know, you've got a player now that if she decides to shoot it, everybody thinks it's going in. If she decides to pass it, you know that it's the right pass at the right time to somebody who's going to score. So throwing her into the lineup is adding a huge confidence sandwich to your buffet. That's basically what we're doing.
It's a great phrase. Geno, you've got defending champ and top seed Stanford in your next game. I know there's a million things that would concern any coach about a champion and a 1 seed, but can you identify just even the first couple that you're consumed with now as you prepare for them?
Well, they're the longest team that we have played all year long. They're the longest team anybody's played all year long. And we just lost, you know, a 6'5" kid the other night to a wrist injury. We're not, but they have the ability to add length on the floor at every single position. And they're, like you said, they're defending national champions. They're experienced. They've got everybody back from that team. They're better than they were last year. I don't see any weaknesses in that team. You know, you're going to have to go and you're going to have to play the game of your life to win that game, and you're going to need some help from them. And usually when we come to this thing, you know, people are saying that about us, but in this case, I'm saying that about them, that we're going to need some help from them if we're going to win this game because they're that good.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.